Okay, before I get going into this stuff I'm going to show some Richie from Boston stuff. But there's two things I want people to understand, and I've said this before, I want to reiterate it again. It's very important to understand that the New World Order agenda, there is a competition. The only person I've seen, I do not know most channels, alt media channels on YouTube, BitChute, whatever, but that the only person I've seen that has agreed with me and said the same thing was Dane Wigington. And that in the New World Order, they are competing with each other. There's two agendas there. There's two factions there, which is probably the best way to call it. And we have seen that with Trump, Biden, Trump, Hillary. And again, Dane Wigington's the only one I've seen and heard that has said the same thing, is that at the same time, because we have seen it, so it's been proved factual, that the two sides do not have our interest our interests are not what matters to them. In other words, the American people, the people of this country, whatever the fuck you want to call it, it gets so tired and retarded, the different names and labels that channels come up with, but they do not have the people's best interest at heart, regardless, because we saw that with Trump. Trump was the godfather of the lockdowns, the vaccinations, and all that other dumb shit that went on. And what did he say in one press conference? Take the guns and worry about a red flag law later. Those were his two biggest, highlight moments. But you have to remember, and I have not said this nearly enough, when I talk about and show things with Richie from Boston's channel, it is not just him. It's every YouTube, BitChute channel, every alternative media site, every podcast, every website, etc., and so on and so forth. But let me pause here. Let me get into the Richie from Boston stuff. Oh, because this is what's in my screenshots, I'm going to hit this first. This is CNN, doesn't matter, UN experts, Israel intentionally starving Palestinian people, which they are. Fuck the left and right. Fuck Israel, the Israeli versus Palestinian religious bullshit. You got the Hamas that supposedly say Israel can't exist, and Israel says that the Hamas, well, they say Palestine can't exist, excuse me, you know what I'm talking about. This is a couple photos of allegedly starving people in Palestine, and I believe it. Because there's depending on whose numbers you go by, there's up to 2 million starving people there. And they are starving. Gaza residents break into UN warehouse for supplies. Okay, so apparently the UN warehouse is in Palestine, right? So why aren't they getting these people the food? If you look, if you paid attention, if you Google, all these trucks lined up, can't go in. The U.S. did some airdrops, which I'm going to get into right now. There's up to 2, but we'll get into that here shortly. Images show Palestinians running toward food parcels attached to parachutes. And some landed in the ocean. I'm not going to show the video. Google it, YouTube it. They show these videos. Several pallets landed in the ocean. They had to go out and dive underwater. They don't show them diving underwater, but you can see the parachutes like here above. And it's just insanely fucking stupid. Oh. Here they are on the beach because they all followed the parachutes, and like I said, a bunch of them landed in the ocean, or several, whatever. Thousands flocked to the shore. Airdrop Tuesday, landing in the sea. They went in the water to try to get to the food that went underwater. Hey, come on, you can tell me our military can't do better than that? Bullshit. Oh, well, there's my homie Bill Donahue. I didn't mean to get into that. Let me pause here. Oh, I do. This is a biggie. For the third time, the United States vetoed the United Nations Security Council calling for an immediate ceasefire. The U.S. vetoed it because it would jeopardize they want a hostage release deal, which is bullshit. Biden, Trump, pro-Israel, completely annihilate everybody in the other country, Palestine. So that's why they don't want to agree to any UN thing and claiming it's because of the hostages. I guarantee you right now, most of those hostages are dead. The women have been repeatedly raped, so they cannot give them up. The odds are extremely high. We'll never hear from or see from them or the hostages ever again, and it'll soon be buried in media. I think I have a couple others. Richie's Gofundme because of his fraudulent, fake bullshit report about being ripped off. $21,882. I think I got another one that's up to $23,000. Again, Richie records and videos everything from his camera, his GoPro, his phone, whatever. His drone wasn't stolen, or he would have said something about his drone, I'm sure, which is worth a few $1,000s. None of his preps are stolen. If you go to his Jailbreak Overlander channel, none of his, in videos since then, none of his preps were stolen. Just by pure coincidence, one laptop and all his gold and silver. Nothing else was stolen. Pause here. Oh, yep, here it is. $23,192 of $25,000. Let's see if he actually, even if he shuts it off at $25,000, I got a comment in my YouTube channel, that doesn't count, because he admitted before he started the GoFundMe, he had heard from over 200 people wanting to donate $500 or $100. So he's getting mass amount of cash via email, money orders, and bank transfers, and these Christian channels, it's fucking amazing the way they can scam people. I forget the headline of his channel, but here he's this is the way he looked on his channel. Cern, because they had to turn it upside down to get the 666, which is realistic, and it's propaganda from the government at the same time. Again, Cern is trying to open the veil, bring forth the fallen angels and the demons and the monsters and blah. And he made sure he reminded people of his prior videos, seen amidst a real mission, the stairway to heaven. What is it? What is it really trying to awake? As I've said before, if the Christians were the Bible's accurate, Christians not. So, thus and therefore, and so on and so be it. If Christians were right, then the devil and his millions of legions could possess non-Christians, which are billions and billions more than Christians. Thus, Satan and his legions could possess Christians, kill off all the Christians, and he'd have the planet, right? Right. But that's, of course not. We can't have that. And here he reminded everybody when he talked about D-Wave, and that was going to bring forth other dimensions or whatever the fuck it was. What do we got here? Proof positive they're going to shut it all down. Okay, for starters, the New World Order agenda will never shut everything down. As I have said over the years, regardless of what you hear from any media, regardless of what you hear from the government, any alt site, they will never, ever do anything in this country that results in mass chaos and loss of control. If they lose control, they lose power, they lose money, they lose funding, they lose control, they lose power. It's a revolving cycle for the New World Order agenda. Nothing will be done on purpose. The only accidents would be a CME from the sun, or some country, Russia, China, does a nuke, which will not happen. This is all about, at the top of this right now, and it didn't start this way, was a geoengineering. But let's move on. And of course, God dang it, I got other clips that show which videos when he's showing his GoFundMes and buy my gold. I'll show them here. Bizarre satanic tapestry shown at the World Economic Forum, which is right here. Over on the left is what appears to be a woman giving birth or having an abortion. The blood trail goes way over here to the right, which is Satan's mouth. Again, there's no angels, there's no demons, there's no Satan, there's none of that. As the Bible itself says, again, it's all allegory and it's all parable. Jesus says he never spoke anything but a parable, which means he did not mean what he said. So fucking get over it. That's another story. I've talked happening now. Yeah, this is a video happening now. Hit his Gofundme. Happening now. Hit his gold sales. Happening now. Oh, what's this one? Pentagon. Oh, this black eye dress, this balloon shit. There's no way you can have that little solar panel thing on the bottom with propellers or jet engines and direct that thing to go against atmospheric winds. So let's move on. No. Oh, hang on a second. I got a cough. Okay, and all these I'm addressing from Richie from Boston, or his last 3 videos, and which, of course, coincidence with him going almost 10 grand on his GoFundMe. Okay, here he's talking about these social media sites, whatever. There was some other recent thing that affected and shut down partial things. I think it was like 400,000 people, nothing. But to him, it's proof positive. They're going to shut it all down. And eventually, I'm going to show a clip where he says within their next 30 days, it's not going to happen. All these channels spout all this shit. They're all proven wrong. They're all proven to be liars. They're all proven to be frauds. And yet the people keep following them because they blow it off or say, oh, he was just wrong. But let me pause here. Okay, here he's talking about the doomsday clock. Oh my God, doomsday clock. He doesn't show what the doomsday clock is down to, of course, because I remember a few years ago it was down to 1 minute or 2 minutes and 5 minutes, but yet we're all still here. Proof positive, he's back to Cern again. Proof positive video again, real footage of Miami Mall aliens. This was, I believe, the Bayside Mall in Florida. And if you go watch this, there's a couple different pieces of video. One guy on his phone, while another guy videoing of him on his phone. And he's supposed to be talking to his dad, who's a cop. I can't talk to you about nothing. If you go watch this, the couple pieces of video you've seen that are supposed to be aliens. And as it shows right there, that's the worst possible footage you could hardly you could ever see to try to prove anything, but that's what they got to prove, that there was aliens at the Bayside Mall, because what was it, up to 50 teenagers blowing off fireworks or shooting off firearms. So they had a massive cop response to an active shooter, and somebody put out one video about aliens. So like any other subject, there you go. Wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Of course, ever since this fake video, he's got all these sales and shit on the bottom, and there's more. Get your money out of the bank. Oh, another thing like I brought up, but I haven't done it. I've mentioned it several times over the years. All these people want to talk about if there's a collapse, Armageddon, whatever, you got to have gold and silver. Well, obviously, if the world falls apart, gold and silver is not going to do you any good unless you're going to be around a couple hundred years until everything recovers. And if you're right, then you buy all this gold and silver. Then this sudden not going to happen recovery is 6 months or a year or whatever, you're going to be the new top or 1% asshole on top. So, blah. Proof positive, his other video, they're going to shut it all down, showing his GoFundMe. World Economic Forum, the end of it happening in America, some stunt they pulled there. Again, there's no power in witchcraft or satanic worship, because Satan and witches and shit, they have no power. Satan is fake, it's all bullshit. And if you're a Bible believer, if you're a Christian, especially with the Old Testament, because that's where it comes from, why don't you do some research on what all those words mean in Greek? All the words, all the phrases, all the astrology, all the astronomy, all the, so I can't think of the shit off the top of my head, but as Richie would say, so on and so forth. None of what Christians teach is real whatsoever. The Bible is real. Again, go listen to Bill Donahue on YouTube and listen to what the Bible really says and means. I mean, it's all mythology, astrology, astronomy, but it does very much affect us. Pause here. Hopefully this isn't a repeat. The end of America, plug in the Gofundme. The end of America, plug in buy the gold. Again, he loves to blame Obama for everything, but here's the national debt clock, and I'm the only one I know of that have said since I started on YouTube like 6 years ago, this is bullshit. All these channels, and matter of fact, they've gone away with it for like the last, year plus? Remember, it used to be economic collapse. They can't fake the dollar. They can't keep faking the dollar. Yes, they can. In the case of faking the dollar, it is not, as they say, fake it until you make it. It is fake it until you can't make it anymore. In our case, and right now, the only thing that would prevent us from faking the dollar is a collapse of the planet because of what the geoengineering has done. The completely dead and dying oceans, atmosphere, and soil as insects like us. Look at all the diseases and other shit and allergies that have come up, and that's because of the shit they're spraying. Pause. Then he showed a clip from this dude. This is a channel redacted. This is a guy I've mentioned a few times. He used to be a host on Fox and Friends. He got in legal trouble because of a Ponzi scheme and selling fake and fraudulent properties that were fucked up, properties where there was no building even on the land. So him and his wife took off to another country that I cannot remember off the top of my head. Then he showed this shit in that same video, talking about the pedophiles and the animal zoophiles wanting to fuck animals and buying these animals and buying sex dolls that were babies, infants, whatever amount to he said it's a lot. Whatever amount that is going on, that is very minimum. Yes, there's plenty of pedophiles and all that shit out there, but they're not going on the internet to buy these things. You know, it's just sucking in the... Matter of fact, that's what I meant to bring up in his last 3 videos. He's really heavy into mention Christian shit because it vastly increases his GoFundMe money and the money he's getting on the side that we'll never know about. And he'll never admit, like any of these channels. And, of course, here we go, Obama, buy the gold. Oh, that's it for the clips. Screenshots. I want to go to a couple short video clips of his. Okay, this is the end, not the end, but 7 minutes, 10 seconds. The video title, it starts the end something. I should have got it, but anyway, let's see what Richie has to say here.
After getting my truck robbed in Florida,
Again, his truck is robbed. Richie films everything. GoPro, phone, laptop, or drone. Again, his drone wasn't stolen. But no video footage of he's pulling these people out of the ditch or whatever it was in his broken window.
Asked if anybody felt led to give me a hand, they could help me out. And a couple...
Felt led to help. Come on, Christians, donate that money.
100 people shot me emails. And I responded to all those emails a few weeks ago saying, you know what, let me see if I can work this out on my own, etc., figure it out.
Let me work it out on my own, etc. But nope, here comes the GoFundMe and the sales. And I'm a Christian, please help me.
Because I lost a lot of my gear, and I lost money that I was actually bringing to...
What gear did you lose? I think I already mentioned it. Go to his Jailbreak Overlander channel on YouTube. He's got recent videos since this happened. He's showing him out there. He's at this campsite showing us one of his favorite. He go bug out there. And again, Richie spends more time in motel rooms than he does camping anywhere. Richie's one, I guarantee you, Richie's one of them people. I don't know, I'm no psychologist or shrink, but Richie's one of them people that cannot be alone with himself. That's why he cannot actually camp out anywhere more than one night, and then he has to go get a motel room. But anyway... Go to his video. He's supposedly in this campsite, but he's showing all his equipment. Nothing is missing. What's missing? Nobody stole your prep gear. these two people that he supposedly pulled out of his ditch, and while he ran off on his electric bicycle, they supposedly smashed the back window of his RV or whatever it is, and the only thing they stole was a laptop, and they managed to dig deep enough to wherever they found his cash, his gold, and his silver. They didn't take his drone. They didn't take his other laptop. They didn't take his GoPro. And they took none of his survival gear. Go check his Jailbreak Overland commercial. He's not, commercial channel. He's not complaining about anything missing. He's got everything except for mysteriously, and of course, the gold, the silver, and one laptop. But let's move on.
Subscribers, basically. So the other day I decided to start a GoFundMe, which I've never done ever. I haven't asked people for help in years.
He may have never started a GoFundMe before. He said he hasn't asked for help in years. But whenever you are selling products, you're sponsoring products, you have ads for products at the bottom of your screen, that is asking for help.
If you're down for it, I'm going to leave a link below. And I guess the top donations, the top 3 donations, if you live in the continental U.S., the top three donations will be graced by me coming to their front door. And if you live in another country,
the top 3 donations will be graced by me coming to your front door if you live in the U.S. So what's that mean when any channel ever does anything like that? Hurry up, be the first one or the last one to send 1,000, 2,000, 5,000. This is the same shit that these Christian preachers and evangelists and rip-off artists do on TV and radio. I mean, it's insane that see, these people, alternative media, and myself and you, we talk about and we know about people that believe and fall for the left-right propaganda. This is people falling for the Christian BS and or awakened crowd propaganda. Let me pause here. Okay, this is one of his last 3. I should have turned the screenshot. This one starts out with Obama in the title, but let's see what he has to say here, which he has repeated several times over the years.
Do you know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
I've raised a lot of alarms over the years, but I'm telling you right now, this video could completely be my last video, because any day, in the twinkling of an eye, we could wake up and...
Okay, so any day, this could be a completely last video, because in a twinkling of an eye, in the twinkle of an eye, if you don't know, is a Bible quote saying in the twinkle of an eye, we will all be raptured. But let's see what he says here.
The internet and everything they have tied it to successfully will be down or gone.
In the twinkling of an eye, everything, the internet, everything's going to be gone. Again, that will not happen intentionally whatsoever. Why? Because the New World Order loses control over us, the sheep. Just like these people, if they start telling the truth, they lose control over their sheep, their flocks, their videos, their subscribers, their funding. They're funding.
And then nothing works.
And nothing works.
Wipe out.
Nothing works means Richie from Boston can't keep driving from east to west, west to east at his taxpayers' expense. But let me pause here. Okay, I have to say this again, because above the geoengineering, which is killing us all, which is killing the entire planet, actually above that, and more important, because it drives people and guides people what they're going to do with their lives to survive, and it's guiding people and directing people and not telling people, which is the most important, this part, they're not telling people what is going on because they're paying more attention to this political bullshit and that political agenda more to what's going on the planet, because that barely ever comes up on mainstream news. You got to go look for it. And you know the fuck, and so on and so forth, right, Richie? But the New World Order agenda, again, I have to say this again. I have to repeat this because it's so important. There are two competing agencies. There's a power struggle in the New World Order. The only one that I've heard that's ever agreed with me, there's got to be more out there. I don't listen to everything on alt media. I can't. It's fucking impossible. Like nobody can. But there's two. It's like there's two. It's the exact same thing. If it's in a street gangs or the mafia or the cartels, they're competing power struggles within the agency. And the best way to prove that is look at the issues with Biden, Trump, that not just between them two, but I'm saying during the Biden Trump years, during the Hillary Trump years, look and starting before that, look at the issues that have going on. I mean, the political issues, the legal issues, taxes and emails and all this shit. I can't. Everything we've all seen it on the news. Look at all this shit that's been going on. It's not the opposite. They do not need to go this deep to keep prosecuting Hillary members, Trump members, going after Biden members, and especially Trump members, with Trump going on the last 8 years now, going after prosecuting him and the sub people underneath, the tax people, the business people, acquaintances. You know what? You get what I'm talking about. They do not need to go that deep and keep it going this long for distraction and diversion. And I know people might think otherwise, but I'm telling you, I guarantee you right now, I promise you with everything that I am, there are competing power struggles within the New World Order, and we've seen that. I think it started, I need to look it up because I've seen shit about it, and sometimes I forgot to take notes or screenshots or photos, but it mainly started after or during Obama, but it came out after Obama. But again, they do not have our best interest at heart. And the biggest things we saw that underneath Trump were the whole COVID thing, the lockdowns being what they call the godfather of the vaccinations. And when he said in that one bit on an interview, regarding the red flag laws for firearms, take the guns later and worry about a law later. I mean, come on. And when he was elected that night, he got up on stage and within a couple minutes said something, I'm not going to get this quote perfect, Hillary was a very good or great Secretary of State. And go listen to that. Because it's at the beginning of his acceptance speech or whatever when he was officially elected. It's just within the first 5 minutes, so you ain't got to suffer. And you can just listen to the crowd what's there. You hear a couple claps, and you're like, "What the fuck? They should have known right there it was all gone." But anyway, see you later. Bye. Till next time.